Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's another hot one in Kansas City. It's also the third, final, and decisive game of this three-game series between the Royals and the Houston Astros. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg is coming up. I'm sure your phones and your devices are buzzing saying that Johnny Cueto is coming to the Royals. I just spoke with Royals General Manager Dayton Moore live on the Royals Radio Network with our weekly show. All we can tell you is what Dayton told us, that right now there is no deal. There is no deal. It is all rumor to this point. So the only ace that the Royals are concerned with right now is Dallas Keuchel of the Houston Astros.
And that's where their thoughts will all be today, because it's day-to-day business and a day-to-day grind. Go ahead and get him. Pick out the pitch up if he gives you one up. He's been really good.
Yeah, he was the starter for Ned Yost at the All-Star game this year, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Man, he is among the league leaders, or at least the top 5 or 6 in almost every category, but at the very top in ERA, whip, opponent's batting average, quality starts.
We might sound like a broken record because we've said it before. The Royals have beaten all kinds of aces this year. Keuchel's the only one they haven't gotten to. And believe me, we'll go into his road numbers as the broadcast continues. But look, he's vulnerable on the road. Slider's been his excellent pitch, though. Keuchel, he really has the knack of keeping that ball down and burying it, and that's where he lives. He's not an overpowering pitcher, but that slider, it neutralizes all lefties, which won't be very many lefties in Ned's lineup today, but the righties as well. He's been solid, and the Royals know what they got to do. Get on base and get the big hit.
And it'll be Yordano Ventura pitching for the Royals today. More with Joel right after this.
Martinez, quite a pitching staff. Add in John Smoltz, who did it as a starter and a reliever, and Craig Biggio. So a very, very special day for the Houston Astros. George Brett, of course, had his big moment back in 1999. Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium, final game of this homestand. And for the Royals, they'll look for a big performance from Yordano Ventura. Been an up and down week, to say the least, for Yordano, as he gave up 6 runs on Monday, option Tuesday, called back up on Wednesday, and maybe he can have some big success against the Astros, because as we see in our AT&T U-verse rewind, Yordano Ventura back last year, April in 2014, got his first career win. That came at Minute Maid Park against the Astros. And boy, how great would it be to get Yordano Ventura going back in the right direction. Drew Butera will catch him for the first time today. It is the series finale between the Astros and the Royals. First pitch coming up next. And for the Royals, they'll look for a big performance from Yordano Ventura. Been an up and down week, to say the least, for Yordano, as he gave up 6 runs on Monday, optioned Tuesday, called back up on Wednesday, and maybe he can have some big success against the Astros, because as we see in our AT&T U-verse rewind, Yordano Ventura, back last year, April in 2014, got his first career win. That came at Minute Maid Park against the Astros. And boy, how great would it be to get Yordano Ventura going back in the right direction. Drew Butera will catch him for the first time today. It is the series finale between the Astros and the Royals. First pitch coming up next.
Your local Chevy dealers today for great prices on all new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery, every ticket you play gets back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Royals and Astros. Houston took game 1 4-0. Giving them a 7-game winning streak against the Royals going back to last year. Then the Royals in dramatic fashion last night even the series by winning 2-1 in walk-off fashion in the 10th inning. The Angels also lost, so Houston did not gain any or lose any ground in the American League West. Still tied for first with the Angels. And we brought this question up. The Astros, they came out swinging in game 1 on Friday. They had 4 runs on 10 hits in the first 4 innings. But then they finished with just 1 hit the rest of the game, and we wondered what would carry over to last night. Well, now the Astros have 1 run, 6 hits in the last 15 innings of this series. waiting for Yordano Ventura to take the mound. And big question today, HUD, what are we going to see from Yordano Ventura? Will he be a relaxed Yordano Ventura? Will he be feeling the pressure to win the series, knowing that he could be in AAA right now if Jason Vargas had not been injured? Here are his overall numbers. He is 4-7 with a 5.19 ERA. And Yordano Ventura is facing the Astros for the first time this year.
Yeah, he's had all week to think about all those things mentally. Right now, his focus is on the Houston Astros and their hitters, executing his game plan with Butera, not Salvador Perez. Ned Yost going with an all right-handed lineup for the first time this year. Pretty impressive, though, his stuff. That's the one thing we'll see out of him, is his fastball, a blazer. He's going to reach 98 miles an hour. He's comfortable around 95, 96. Good sharp curve. He'll cut the fastball once in a while, and an excellent changeup. And this is what he's got to do, is he's got to just stay on the corners, and when runners in scoring position, stay out of the middle. That's been his big culprit.
Here are the Royals defensively, presented by Ford. Chesler Cuthbert, recently called up, will be a starter for the first time. Paulo Orlando in left field. And Kendrys Morales is at first. Drew Butera behind the plate. Salvador Perez will be the designated hitter. And Ned Yost hinted, with the extreme heat, with the dog days of the baseball season, and with the Royals going a long stretch of days out of the break without an off day, he's been resting players one day at a time. And today it's both Mike Moustakas and Eric Hosmer out against one of the toughest, if not the toughest, lefty in the league, Dallas Keuchel. Yordano Ventura pitched on Monday. That was the beginning of the Pirates series, and he was pitching with 10 days rest, so he may have been a little strong. He was certainly strong in the first inning. He got the Pirates 1-2-3 and made Andrew McCutchen, the Pirates' best hitter, look bad. We thought, boy, here we go, it's gonna be a good day for Ventura. But the Pirates scored 4 runs in the second inning, and Ventura only went 4, giving up 10 hits.
I think there's a misconception amongst the fans that he got sent out because of his performance, and it wasn't that at all. Ned needed some leverage. He needed an extra arm. He needed Blanton in that bullpen out there to go long. And Ventura, if he'd have had his defense positioned the way he wanted to, a lot of those balls would have been hit at guys. So look, this kid's got great stuff. They need him. He knows it. This will be a good opportunity for him, though, to have a nice outing. We've seen him go 1-2-3 in his last 2 starts in the first inning. It's the second innings that give him trouble. So let's see if he can get through the first here. Ooh. Got to harness command of that fastball is his biggest issue.
And those last 2 fastballs, both at 97 miles an hour. That was his average fastball on Monday. It was a season high for him. And now Altuve lifts it to left field for Paulo Orlando. 1 away.
That inside fastball, the previous pitch, is a good pitch, especially to Altuve. Knock him off the plate a little bit with that hard fastball. You got to do that. It opens up the outer half, and he couldn't quite barrel that one. You got a fastball like that, you get hitters' attentions when you back them off the plate.
And now Preston Tucker with 1 down. He's been impressive in this series. 3 hits, including a home run in game 1. 1 hit last night. And Ventura starts him off with a hard breaking ball, and Tucker was fooled. That's Trip Gibson, the third base umpire. No balls and 1 strike.
Well, one thing we know about Tucker in this series is there's not a fastball he doesn't love. He absolutely will turn on one, doesn't matter how hard it is. We saw him do that. Kelvin Herrera, his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So a couple curves to start Mr. Tucker off with.
And Ventura had 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not only was Ventura's fastball at a velocity higher than normal for him this year, but so was his curveball and his changeup, which is not necessarily a good thing. And might have been a result of having 10 days rest instead of a normal 4 days rest. Whoa, that was close. Chris Guccione is the home plate umpire.
changeup that missed in. It's good to see him out of the middle.
Fastball at 98.
Yeah, but with that velocity, you know, you can sneak that by hitters over the middle of the plate. Ventura just wants to be able to settle in. Trust Butera.
Got him with a hard breaking ball. 2 down.
When you establish the fastball at that velocity, anything else fools hitters if it's located properly. That one was up in the zone, but he got the job done. That's all that matters. It wasn't in the middle of the plate.
And now Carlos Correa. Last night he lost a career high 9-game hitting streak. He did have a sacrifice fly, which drove in the Astros' only run. 97 right over the inside corner. Correa is 1 for 6 in the series with a couple of runs driven in. 1-2.
It's all about Ventura's front shoulder, keeping it straight downhill towards his target. When he leaks, pulls off, leaves the ball up and moves right lateral, and those lateral pitches are easier to hit. Downward action.
And it nicked him on the elbow. Or maybe on the forearm.
Yep, just barely caught him on the forearm. Tucker, Correa, Valbuena, Gaddis, they've never faced Ventura before. I guess Tucker already has. He struck out. Marisnik, the 9th batter, he hasn't faced him either.
Valbuena started game 1 and was 0 for 3. Up the middle. Infante backhands, gets it to Escobar. And that's the inning. So only one more pitch after the hit batter. And a good start for Yordano Ventura. Actually are running the show, and here is the Royals starting lineup today.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Ferguson from Lahaina, Hawaii. I'm going to be announcing the starting lineup for the American League champions, the Kansas City Royals. My favorite player is probably Mike Moustakas because of his great defensive play when he jumped over the railing.
From Hawaii. Aloha.
Nice.
Welcome to KC, Alyssa. She's actually from Kansas City and lived in Kansas City for a long time, but the family has recently relocated to Hawaii. Scott Feldman, who pitched in game 1 of the series, is a Hawaiian native who did the reverse. Born in Hawaii and then moved to California's Bay Area. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alcides Escobar drove in the game-winning run in the bottom of the 10th inning last night against Will Harris, driving in Paulo Orlando. Great bunt. And Keuchel did the right thing.
You couldn't have caught it, taken it with your hand, and rolled it any better. That was a beautiful bunt. And Keuchel, he's one of the best fielding pitchers there are in the game. If he puts that in his pocket, you know it must be good. Oh, their only chance was to let it roll and hope it went foul. Look at that. Oh, that's perfect. He's already running out of the box. They call that a drag bunt. Fantastic.
Second for Escobar, 15th bunt hit for the Royals this year. Now Lorenzo Cain grounds it into left field. Cain has done well against Keuchel. In fact, the last time the Royals faced Keuchel, he pitched a gem, 8 scoreless innings, but Cain had 2 doubles in that game, and now he rolls a single, and the Royals have 2 on, nobody out. Take a look at the Astros defensively. Now take a look at that. There's the defense, spread out, fanned out evenly. That's the only time today you will see them in the position they're supposed to be in.
Yep, I think they call that straight up. Yep, that's going to work. Now, they're a good defensive team. We watched them play that shift magnificently last night, but it didn't work. They got beat. Oh, my.
Royals coming out swinging. They've got the bases loaded with nobody out. Escobar bunts. Cain swings at the first pitch he sees. Morales swings at the first pitch he sees. And it's hot already, and the Royals are putting more heat on Keuchel.
Well, the rest of the league has put a little heat on him, especially away from home and on the road. You can take those numbers out there, what he's done on the road, 3 and 4. ERA a lot higher. Home runs allowed, plenty. Fastball, slider, changeup, and a cut fastball. Look at that's right over the middle of the plate, short and compact, beautifully done. Now you gotta. This is the hard part. Aces like Keuchel like to be stingy when it comes to runners on in scoring position.
Slider for a strike. The Royals were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position against Keuchel on June the 30th, and they are 2 for 16 against him all time. Ground ball. They'll come to the plate and get the out there. So Marwin Gonzalez to Jason Castro. Now the bases loaded, 1 down.
Not a bad approach, but the shift again with the first baseman all the way over there in that hole was placed perfectly. Look at that. He's sitting right in the middle of the bases. Worked again. Got the force, didn't want to do anything else. Just get that run at home, and they got it. Slider is Keuchel's best pitch. There's no doubt about it. But all of his pitches are down. So in this situation, you want to try to look up if you can. If not, you've got to be able to lift that ball that's down low and get a sac fly or better. Got to get him here. You got to get a run in this inning. Can't let him off.
Inside to Rios. 0 for 7 in this series. And for the third straight game against the Astros, Rios has by far the most experience against the starting pitcher. And he's had a lot of success with Keuchel. Valbuena, he'll come to the plate. And now the bases loaded, 2 down.
They are playing this first inning like it's a last inning. Good short hop pick. He didn't want to step on the base. He could have been out of the inning had he stepped in the bag, but then that would have made the catcher have to make a tag on him, Jason Castro. May not have had enough time, so they just want to make sure the Royals stay off the board.
Omar Infante, 1 for 7 in the series. Again, Keuchel pitching inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
It's a good idea for him. Opens up that outer half. Same way with Ventura. Except Keuchel averages 89 miles an hour on his fastball compared to Ventura's at 96. There's a difference, but Keuchel has a way of commanding that ball to keep the hitters at bay. But that's a good pitch there.
Normally very good in the first inning. He has only allowed 4 runs in 20 starts.
Rasmus playing shallow again like he did last night. He's got 3 outfield assists.
Base hit left field. So the Royals will get 1, maybe 2. Here comes Salvador Perez. And a bad throw to third gets away, and Infante goes to second. An outstanding read by third base coach Mike Jershely. I don't think the Astros, I don't know if anybody in the ballpark figured that Salvador Perez would be sent home. But Omar Infante comes up big with 2 outs.
Oh, that's exactly what you need to do, especially off an ace. When you get him in trouble any inning, but especially the first, before he can start settling down, you go ahead and put a couple on the board. Royals had a couple opportunities earlier, didn't do it. That's what the 2-out RBIs do, and they break the opponent's back. I agree with you. Jershely saying, come on, Salvi, you got this in you. Tucker, the left fielder, not a very good catch guy as far as making the catches, and also not an accurate thrower. He's got a strong arm, but that ball, heck, he threw it to third base.
Game ended last night with a Royals specialty. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, and Royals lead the league in that category. Chesler Cuthbert, oh man, just missed the bag. So foul to the first base side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cuthbert's first at bat since being called up from AAA when Dusty Coleman was sent down. That was before the game on Friday. That's off the hands and fair. Chesler Cuthbert drives in Rios and Infante. And the Royals stamp a 4 on the scoreboard in the first inning.
Cuthbert tried the right field line. It wasn't working. Foul by 2 feet. Now he got a pitch on the inside part of the plate from Keuchel. And he raked it down that third base line by Valbuena. And man, is that bueno. Nice. He had a little stagger coming out of that box saying, all right, pair of ribbies, first at bat, first time up. Gotta love it. Great placement.
You know, this inning's been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
It hasn't. And for a minute there, I'm thinking, oh no, Keuchel's going to get out of this mess. But the Royals doing what they like to do with 2 strikes.
I mean, bases loaded, nobody out. That gave the fans a thrill that the Royals would do something, and then suddenly bases loaded, 2 outs and no runs home. And it looked like the inning was going to end with a thud. But now Infante and Cuthbert have come up big. And Paulo Orlando's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Well, it's the first game that Ned Yost has gone without a left-handed batter this season, and not many times in the last few years.
Well, not to trump you, Hud, but it's the first time in 10 years. You had to go back to 2005 was the last time the Royals had an all right-handed lineup.
You're allowed to trump me.
Line to center, dive, and a catch by Marisnick, and that saves a 5th run. But the Royals will take 4 any day against one of the league's best.
Crowd is alive and well here at the K. They love it.
Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Once again, that's hashtag KCDataStrongFan. Omar Infante drives in 2 with 2 down. Chesler Cuthbert does the same, and the Royals get 4 against Keuchel. So Yordano Ventura has some runs to work with. He faced only 4 in the first inning. And now fastball in there to Evan Gattis.
That's the greatest gift the offense can give to Ventura. That's 4 early runs, so he can just go out and get through the second inning, which he's had some struggles. He's allowed 14 earned runs in the second inning and 14 starts for a 9 ERA. So this is the inning he's got to get through, and with 4 runs just given to him, be surprised if he doesn't. He's got great stuff, and I was mentioning earlier, he didn't get demoted based on his performance, and he has options. That's the big key. That means you can send him down and bring him up.
Cain has the ball go off of his glove, and Evan Gattis is going to end up at third base.
Believe it or not, that's the 6th triple for Gattis this year. 6 of them, and I think it's because of his home ballpark at Minute Maid. That at Taos Hill up there, he hits a lot of balls up in that area there, and he's able to hit. Now Lorenzo Cain, he's only human. He just couldn't get it off the end of his glove. He ran a long way for that. Playing Gattis to pull. As many runs as Lorenzo Cain has saved. Are you kidding me? That was a great effort.
That brings up Colby Rasmus. Inside, ball 1. Rasmus is 1 for 7 with an RBI at the plate, but in the field he has been all over the place. Astros have had him lined up perfectly on several occasions, and for the most part shallow in right field, but not quite shallow enough last night on Alcides Escobar's bloop in the 10th inning.
Yeah, I mean, he can't play 20 feet off the grass out there, off the infield dirt. But look, Escobar, I mean, it's amazing how he just touched that ball out there just enough.
To left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Rasmus drives in Gaddis, and the Astros answer with a run. It is 4-1. Remember, Royals fans, you have the exclusive opportunity to purchase an autographed copy of Dayton Moore's new book, More Than a Season. 100% of the proceeds from the book support Dayton's charity, See You in the Major Leagues, and it's all for just $25. Book, a donation, and an autographed copy. And once again, if you weren't with us at the top of the show, had a chance to chat with Dayton on the radio side, our weekly visit with him on Sundays, and he said there is no news in regard to the much reported trade between the Royals and the Reds involving Johnny Cueto. The Reds are saying the same thing. Marwin Gonzalez playing at first base, switch hitter, 2 for 4 in the game last night, and that was as a third baseman.
And Rasmus, I'm sure he knows all about Yordano Ventura. You can't steal a base off of him. However, there has been 2. Joey Gallo and Yoenis Cespedes ripped off a bag. Hadn't given up those 2 steals in 275.2 innings. So coming into this one, he's very quick home.
1-1 on Gonzalez.
It can be done. Gonzalez 2 for 2 in his career off Ventura.
Gonzalez not very happy with that call by the home plate umpire, and he's taken forever to get in the box, and Ventura says, okay, I'll go to the back of the mound and work on the rosin bag.
Yeah, well, I'll pitch on my terms. He has induced 6 ground ball double plays this season, has Ventura.
One and 2 on Gonzalez.
Lefties have had more power and a little more success off of Ventura. Righties a couple.
Yes, he did. Second strikeout for Ventura, and that's out number 1 in the second inning.
Beauty, hit curveball, starts out about the belt, ends up around the ankles. Especially when you're geared up to hit that fastball, fastball, fastball. Oh, that's kind of how you feel when you see that breaking ball and you're already committed to the fastball to swing, and you just kind of go, oh, okay, you got me.
Down and into Jason Castro, Astros catcher. 1 for 4 in game 1. Hank Conger was behind the plate for the Astros last night. And that's well hit to left center field, and Paulo Orlando is back to make a 2-hand grab. Rasmus had gone all the way to second base, so he has to retouch. He's back to first. There are 2 down.
Love Ned's lineup. You let Morales get out there and play first, even though Hosmer has really good numbers off of Keuchel. Nice to see him let Morales out there and play. Give Haas a day off. Give Salvi a half a day off, just DHing.
Now Jake Marisnick with 2 down. Nicked it foul. No balls, 1 strike. The Royals will be in Cleveland tomorrow, and the forecast is for sunny and 81 degrees. So Royals will have some players refreshed not only by getting some time off, but refreshed by the cooler temperatures. And now it's 0-2 on Marisnick. Marisnick has had an outstanding series defensively, and he saved another run in the Royals' bottom of the first. Got that blocked by Drew Butera.
Boy, I'll say that ball bounced 5 feet in front of home plate. Nice job of squaring it up. Now he becomes a target. He just wants to center that ball in his chest protector just like he did. Bounced right in front, no advancement. Good job. Look at Drew. He's doing his best to encourage Ventura.
Little pop up. Ventura was there, but Morales takes it. And Kendry said, hey, I know how to play first base.
That was great. Let him have it.
Astros get 1 in the top of the second.
Look at Morales. Look at him. Hey, come on.
August 16th, that's the Royals and the Angels, and the first 3,750 fans who bring their KU Day ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition Royals cap branded with KU crimson and blue, courtesy of Rally House and Fox Sports Kansas City. Sunday, August 16th. Drew Butera goes up the right field side and back into the first row.
You know, Morales, he was playfully putting his hand up there after he caught that out, because here's what happened the last time Ventura was pitching. Look at him. He didn't know where to go, so he went over there and he cut off a would-be double play. He wants to play. Hosmer was saying, that's mine.
Valbuena throws out Butera, 1 down.
So when that pop-up went up, Ventura, good athlete, quick, he can run. Running over there, and Morales just said, hey, calm down, I got it.
Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas get the day off. Lorenzo Cain got last night off. Salvador Perez on Friday night. And now Sal serving as the DH today. So Drew Butera gets 2 starts.
That's the best seat Hosmer can have, sitting right next to Dale Swain. When you're off, you have a chance to relax, talk about situations, what Keuchel's trying to do to hitters, and Dale Swain, he's got a great idea. Guy watches a ton of video. Seeing, you know, who's doing the talking. It's Dale. Oz is all ears. Talking about approaches, different pitches in certain situations, the mental side. That's the value of a big league hitting coach.
Correa throws out Escobar, 2 down. Although Hosmer could probably pitch in on that conversation. He is 4 out of 6 against Dallas Keuchel. Royals scored 4 runs, all with 2 outs against Keuchel. It was very much an up and down inning. So Royals had the bases loaded, nobody out. Then Keuchel got 2 outs without a run scoring. And then Infante and Cuthbert both drove in 2 with 2 down. And then the Astros got a run back in the 2nd inning on an RBI from Rasmus. Lorenzo Cain singled in the 1st inning. Had in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Lorenzo raking lefties at a 354 clip coming in. That's before that last base hit. 13 doubles, 4 homers off of lefties.
And he got an off-speed pitch up and was aiming for I-70.
You know, and that was short. Now it was away. If that ball's a little bit more towards the middle of the plate, he catches that. But that's where you get your bat speed. Not the long swing, it's the short one. Short and compact. So he backs him off after taking a hack like that.
That's well hit. Deep into left center field. Goodbye, Lorenzo Cain. Puts the Royals back out in front by 4 for a 2nd time today.
Oh man, he's really got all that. That back off pitch there where Keuchel backed him off with a 2-1 pitch. He said, throw me that again over the middle of the plate, and he did. Keuchel not sharp with his location so far early in this one. That was a cookie. I mean, right down the middle, and Cain took it for a drink on a hot afternoon here at the K. You can tell when he gets it. Look at, he loads up very well. Nice solid stroke to the ball. He always has that nice little arc, but you catch it out in front like that, and you catch that ball just right, like in a day like today, that is a no doubter.
A little squirter foul off to the right side. 5 runs ties the most allowed by Keuchel this year, which should not come as a big surprise. His ERA is 2.12, or was 2.12. And the Royals have done that in the first 2 innings. Seattle Mariners tagged him for 5 back in June.
That base hit he had last time up on the first pitch was perfect. Right back up the middle. Okay, this is his previous at bat. That changeup, it wasn't a fastball. He took something off of it, but that is short and compact. You see how he elects to keep both hands on the bat. Different ways to complete your big league swing. Some guys leave both hands on. Some guys take their hand off. Nice one-handed approach with the swing. Keuchel At home at Minute Maid, he's 9-0 with a 1.13. 9 road starts, 3-4.
There's that wicked slider. And Keuchel, who is among the league leaders in strikeouts, that's his first.
Cain going to the hydration station.
And Fox Sports Kansas City are proud to recognize this date, the 25-year anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, signed in 1990 by President George H.W. Bush. This law provides equal rights to the disabled in all areas of public life, including access and seating in this and every ballpark around Major League Baseball. And I dare say Kauffman Stadium is one of the best. And he is one of the best. Lorenzo Cain with his 11th home run. The Royals got 4 in the first inning. The Astros got 1 back. And then the Royals back out to another 4-run lead. Second time through for the Astros. Jose Altuve flied to left in the first inning. That'll be backing out of play. Nice crowd on a hot Sunday afternoon. It does not appear to be a sellout. Royals had their 16th sellout last season. And remember the days, fans, when the Royals struggled, when you put 30,000 or more in the ballpark? Well, those days are over. 16 sellouts. The Royals are 11-5 this year when Kauffman Stadium is sold out. Chop foul, and Altuve might have had a little piece of his bat flake off with that swing in on the hands. I don't know if he cracked his bat, but a little chip came off the handle. Well, folks, you are going to be the first to know that it is official. The Royals have completed the trade with the Cincinnati Reds. Johnny Cueto is coming to Kansas City.
That's That's awesome.
Just got word from Royals Vice President Mike Swanson. Johnny Cueto and cash considerations coming to the Royals in exchange for Brandon Finnegan, John Lamb, and Cody Reed. All pitchers. Altuve is out. All left-hand pitchers. So Johnny Cueto, who we heard that he went out to the bullpen, and Michael Lorenzen, another starter, came out, and Cueto said, "What are you doing here?" "Well, did you hear you've been traded? I'm starting." So Lorenzen started to go through his warm-up routine, and then as it turned out, that was not right. So Cueto did end up pitching and threw a gem. And some talk about a Royals-Reds trade last night. More talk about that today. And now it is official. Johnny Cueto is a member of the Kansas City Royals.
There's only a handful of aces out there, and the Royals went out and got the peach, one of the best. Fantastic news. I got goosebumps, man. I know the fans here do. Now the Royals were completely content with staying pat with what they got, and believe me, with their record that they've had, there's no reason to think they needed any, but you know, it's a long haul. The rest of the season is the most difficult part. How they can finish. And you get an arm like that, that's going to pump these guys up just like it did the Astros when they got Kazmir. Same kind of mental boost.
Second time that Ventura has struck out Tucker, and Ventura has 3.
So Ventura passed his second inning test. Just gave up 1 run. And Lorenzo Cain, he'd probably tell you after the game that I just let that ball get off the end of my glove. Still a very difficult play. But if he catches that, they don't get that run.
So let's see, that would mean Johnny Cueto would be on schedule to start the Thursday game with 4 days rest. The Thursday game in Toronto. With the way those guys can hit the ball in that ballpark, Johnny Cueto, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Maybe he'll do what Kazmir did in his debut for Houston.
Just inside the line. Carlos Correa goes the other way. Rios played the bounce perfectly. Throw a little bit off line. Correa, among many other things, runs well and is at second base with a 2-out double.
Well, he really waited on that pitch to recognize it. Fastball right over the middle of the plate. 97. It's impressive. Keeping him in the ballpark is impressive. Correa has 8 home runs through his first 40 career games. Just 1 or 2 shortstops in the last century to hit 8 homers in his first 40 career games. Houston Astros, they might be the surprise, but they're not just doing it by just showing up. They've got some talented young players. Power, speed, and pitching, and a bullpen. They got all the ingredients the Royals have.
Yeah, you know, we brought this up before, and Minnesota's had a good year. They're still in it, so by no means am I marginalizing them, but some of their numbers don't quite add up. The Houston Astros numbers add up. They tell you exactly why they are here. But to be fair, last year and the year before that, and even this year, some of the Royals numbers don't add up in some people's minds that they're 20 games above 500. But A.J. Hinch, he has good starting pitching. He has a much improved bullpen. His team leads the league in home runs. It leads the league in stolen bases. They are much improved defensively. And that's why they're 11 games above 500 and tied for first place in the West. And I'm just talking about the surprise teams in the American League, and many predicting that the Astros will eventually fade away, Minnesota will eventually fade away.
You know, they're holding their own without their energetic right fielder, Springer.
Ventura out to have a visit with Ventura, and the Astros, they stumbled into the All-Star break, and the Angels got red hot, and they passed the Astros in the standings. And of course, that's the time to say, well, it was nice while it lasted. Now maybe the Astros can think about being a wild card, but they're back at it again in the second half.
Angels blew last night's game, though. They had it. And, you know, the Angels helped the Royals by beating the Twins. So the Royals are returning the favor here, or trying to get this series 2 out of 3. But still a lot of game to play, especially with the power the Astros have. They could put up some runs in a hurry.
Grounded foul by Valbuena.
That little meeting that Butera went out to talk to Ventura, that was timely, because Ventura, a couple pitches before, he jumped off the mound and acted like he was going to pick off Correa at second base. There was no infielders anywhere near the bag. I think Butera said, hey, look, we got 2 outs here. Don't worry about that guy there. You're going to get this hitter here.
And this guy, if you're not paying attention to him, he has 19 home runs. Just nicked it foul. A career high 19 home runs, Luis Valbuena, and he accomplished that before the All-Star break. He has now gone 18 games and 66 at-bats without a home run. '67 at-bats without a home run. Ventura has struck out 4 in his first 3 innings. Of being misunderstood, bullied, and excluded. His struggle and perseverance was the inspiration for the creation of the nonprofit organization Community Help for Autism Spectrum Everywhere. The organization, Chase, after Chase Wilkinson, works with parents of autistic children in a mainstream classroom and their educators to create customized presentations about the child so their peers can better understand them. And he is sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game, enjoying a Royals 5-1 lead.
Way to go, Chase. And I know the classrooms nowadays are much more friendly to kids with special needs, and they're accepting and they understand their differences. But Chase, you're making a big difference. Way to go.
Valbuena makes the play to get Salvador Perez. Well, Joel, we had been reading tweets and reports and speculation and rumors, and now we know it's official. Johnny Cueto is coming to the Royals.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it could get a little confusing in that clubhouse because Kendrys Morales sometimes refers to Edinson Volquez. You know, he and Johnny Cueto are great friends, former teammates. Sometimes he refers to Edinson by the nickname of Cueto. So I'm not sure if we're going to have two Cuetos in there now. Edinson did
Sounds good to me. I'll take two Cuetos
that's
in there.
fine. Edinson said he's not growing out his dreadlocks like he used to have. He'll leave that one to Cueto. The Royals now have themselves an ace. Of course, the Astros have their ace on the hill right now. And Dallas Keuchel grew up in Oklahoma. The closest major league stadium to where he grew up was here at Kauffman, and he said he wasn't necessarily a Royals fan, but he'd come here with his family a couple of times a year, and they would go and watch Ken Griffey and A-Rod and the Mariners. And how about another hit against their ace, Paulo Orlando? The Royals now have as many hits in this game, although Paulo is going to be out at second. Pardon me, Alex Rios. There we go again, Hud, with the body type. Right?
I hear you.
I got it. Anyway, they've got 7 hits. But in the case of Dallas Keuchel, guys, he'd come here, and his favorite team was the Braves. They were a good family friend of Charlie O'Brien's, the catcher for the Braves. And back when he was 7 years old in 1995, he met Ned Yost just as a young kid. So fast forward 20 years later, and it was the man he referred to as Mr. Yost who chose him to be the starter for the All-Star game.
And now Mr. Yost is waiting on word from the Royals dugout, and Bill Duplessis, by way of Don Wakamatsu, says yes, the Astros tagged him out. I can see why they wanted to check.
Yeah, because looked like he tagged him right there. Anyway, no replay. Rios, had he not hesitated a half a step rounding first, he might have gotten it. Didn't quite make up his mind. Rasmus, again, doing a good job hugging that right field line. 4th outfield assist for Rasmus.
Omar Infante got the big hit. The Royals scored 4 in the first inning, but Infante's was the first hit to drive in 2, and then Cuthbert adding on with a 2-run double, as the Royals went from the bases loaded, nobody out, to the bases loaded, 2 outs and no runs home. And there was Infante bailing the Royals out, driving in 2.
There's not too many teams out there when you got Keuchel facing you that are licking their chops to face him, but I have a feeling that the Royals were a little bit anxious to see him again, because there's not an ace that they have faced all year that they haven't handled.
I mean, we could except Keuchel for the first time.
Except Keuchel, and they haven't.
Now they've seen him once,
right? And they haven't beat him yet. But they got on him early.
Two strikeouts for Keuchel, but the Royals have tagged him for 5 runs in the first 3 innings. York on its Hall of Fame weekend and offer congratulations to this year's award winners and to the 2015 National Baseball Hall of Fame inductees and their families. As we speak, the speeches: Craig Biggio, John Smoltz, Randy Johnson, and Pedro Martinez. Man, what a class.
Yep. Some are saying it might be the best. Special moment in a beautiful part of the country.
Have you been for an induction?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Never been for an induction. Had the pleasure of the last 2 All-Star breaks going and watch my boys play in that Little League World Series they have up there. Beautiful. Played in the Hall of Fame game up there for an exhibition one year. Angels. I was with the Angels when we played the Expos. That was a lot of fun. Flew us in there.
Evan Gattis leads off. He also led off the second inning and he tripled. Evan Gattis doesn't look like a 6 triple guy, but he is a 6 triple guy. Scored on a Colby Rasmus single. One ball, 1 strike. Royals got 4 in the first inning. The Astros answered with 1 in the second, and then the Royals answered that with a home run from Cain. 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's good to see when he misses here against this guy. He's missing down low. Gattis hit his 6th triple. I think this guy, you know, he doesn't have a lot of speed, but he places them well.
Fonte scoops and throws him out, 1 away. George Brett, can you believe it was 16 years ago? Royals had a Sunday home day game just like this one, a hot day, and many fans stuck around after the game to watch on the old video board in left field his speech 16 years ago, sitting next to Jim Rice today as he was introduced. It was 8 years ago that Denny Matthews was the winner of the Ford Frick Award at Cooperstown, and Denny will be joining us in the 6th inning as he does on Sundays, preparing all of his television notes diligently. Infante again, he gets Rasmus, 2 down. Our Toyota League leaders, just to put into perspective, and look at Johnny Cueto with that KC next to him. The best ERAs in the major leagues since the beginning of last year. Only Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke, and Felix Hernandez, all Cy Young winners, have had a lower ERA than Johnny Cueto.
One of the best of that bunch.
And once again, if you didn't hear the specifics of the trade, Johnny Cueto and cash considerations coming to the Royals. The Royals sending Brandon Finnegan, John Lamb, and another minor league left-hander, Cody Reed, to Cincinnati. So 3 lefties going from the Royals to the Reds. And we still have to see the Cincinnati Reds. We have a 2-game series there next month.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if Cueto could get one of those 2 starts? Cash considerations, that means that they negotiated cash with Cueto, so the Reds are paying the Royals money along with that. That's good. They'll take the cake.
Which may have cost the Royals another prospect. Ventura, Butera, Infante, and Morales is all the Royals needed in the top of the 4th inning. Yordano Ventura has given up 1 run in his first 4. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Mr. and Mrs. K out in the outfield experience beyond the water spectacular, taking in this glorious and hot Sunday afternoon, and a Royals 5-1 lead. Royals scored 4 in the first inning, and Cheslor Cuthbert playing in his first game since being called back up. He was right in the middle of that with a 2-run double. That ball's well hit, but right at Rasmus. One down in the 4th inning. That'll bring up Paulo Orlando, who lost a hit and an RBI on a diving play in center field by Marisnik in the first. He is our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda, as we take you back to the bottom of the 10th last night.
Yep, look at that delayed steal. 3 crow hops and take off, and that'll fool any catcher. It's not really focused on it. Great job of getting into scoring position, and then it's over. I thought Rasmus had a shot on the hop there, but couldn't glove it. Would have been close at the plate had he caught it with his good arm, but they'll take that walk-off win, the 4th on the season here at the K. Ed Yost is proud for a lot of reasons, but one of them is the job that this guy, Gerard Dyson, have done in the absence of their Platinum Glove winner, Alex Gordon. Hosmer, Rios, a couple other offensive players have stepped up their production. Exactly what they want. There's Alex. He's going to join the team on the road, so that's good to have him there.
Alex is doing a little more physical activity every day. And a little bit later on, Joel will give us an update on his progress. Good to see him in uniform. Sounds like he's going to be joining the Royals on this road trip to continue his rehab with the team.
Yep, I had a chance to speak with him earlier today, and he had that big smile on his face when I asked him about the road trip. You're coming? Yeah, big smile. Wants to support his guys.
Nice play, Valbuena, to get Paulo Orlando. 2 down. Royals will be gone for a while. They will be gone 11 days. They'll play 10 games in Cleveland, Toronto, and Detroit. Want you to mark your calendars for the next homestand. It'll be our 5th T-shirt Tuesday coming up August 11th. It's the Royals and the Tigers. The first 10,000 fans receive a blue 7th inning stretch T-shirt courtesy of Sprint. Royals.com/T-shirt Tuesday or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Royals have a long homestand after the long road trip. The White Sox, the Tigers, and the Angels will be here. Drew Butera goes the other way. He is 1 for 2, and he's on with 2 outs.
Four-seam fastball, outer half. Perfect. That's what you do. Take what he gives you. Butera now. Second hit of a Keuchel in his career.
One more hit, and the Royals will hand Keuchel 9 hits allowed for the 2nd time this year. That's a season high. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. So the Royals have already tied Keuchel's season high with 5 runs allowed. Escobar has one of the hits. He opened the game with a bunt single against Keuchel, who's an outstanding fielding pitcher. He was the Gold Glove winner last year in the American League. Still 0-2.
Eske good against lefties this season, coming in .298 with 6 doubles.
Altuve plays it on a hop, and that is the inning. We have played 4. The Royals have 5 runs, 8 hits against Keuchel, and a 5-1 lead.
And as Ryan and Hud mentioned a little while ago, he's going to go on the road trip. Our University of Kansas Hospital injury report takes a look at Alex and where he is at with his rehab. Guys, he said he's going to start some light jogging on this road trip, either in Cleveland or Detroit, not Toronto, he said most likely, because they've got that turf there, so better off to be safe. He says feels like he can do it right now, but he's listening to the training staff 100%. He knows that they want to be cautious. He called it baby steps, and he said that he expects on this road trip to start doing a little tee work. If that goes well, progress to some soft tossing. So he's definitely moving along. He's been doing a lot of treadmill work. They've got a special treadmill in there that he was telling me about that he's been working on and getting extra work. And then, of course, he's doing a little bit of maintenance on the lower body. And with the upper body, I said, I'm sure you're getting that in right. And he goes, oh, yeah, come on. You know I'm getting that. And he's crushing that. He can't live without the upper body workouts. But a very upbeat and optimistic Alex Gordon. Timetable hasn't necessarily changed, but he is progressing well.
Thank you, Joel. And it probably helps him. I know it helps the team that other players are picking up the slack while he's out. Paulo Orlando, Gerard Dyson in left field. Alex Rios has picked it up in right. Not only with good numbers, but good numbers in the later innings. Our stat guru Dave Holtzman did some exhaustive research. Do you know that since Alex Gordon went down, Paulo Orlando, Alex Rios, and Gerard Dyson in the 7th inning or later are hitting .375 with 11 runs scored, 6 RBIs. 3 of those are go-ahead RBIs. 3 of those are game-winning RBIs.
Yeah, my opinion, there are no weak links in that lineup. Now, some are better than others, obviously, but there's not a weak link in there. And the last several games, when the bottom of Ned's lineups came up, you were going, all right, we got a chance to win. I mean, there's not a lot of teams out there in baseball that have, you know, a formidable 7, 8, 9. And Ned has the luxury of having production down that bottom is good. Ventura using a lot more off speed so far early in this one. And we talked about the keys to Ventura. That's his shoulder. Want to be able to keep that shoulder closed long enough to give him some good downhill angle. I want to show you a changeup. Okay, there's the changeup grip. When you're aiming your shoulder right towards your target, it keeps you on line, and you're able to execute and keep the ball down. That changeup is perfectly executed right there. It's exactly where you want to throw it, even if it's over the middle of the plate. There it is. Well, you're good. Look at the shoulder coming right down. He's not pulling off. He's not recoiling. Mechanics look good.
Castro at second base. Marisnik at first with nobody out. Down and away to Jose Altuve, who's hit in 9 straight. Today against Ventura, he has flied to left and grounded out to third. That'll be out of play.
He's tied with Valbuena for most double plays hit into with 10. So Altuve, even though as fast as he runs, he hits that ball right at people, he's out. And hopefully Ventura can do that here. Next pitch will be the 70th. Pretty good pitch efficiency.
And now 1-2.
And as deep as Ned's bullpen is, especially the HDH has been rested, ready to go today in case he needs them. Just throwing strikes.
Two and two on Altuve. And now from 1-2 to 3-2 with the potential tying run on deck, and a guy who's had a bad time with Ventura today, but otherwise has swung the bat well in this series. Preston Tucker.
Butera doing a nice job of keeping the ball in front of it behind the plate today. He's squaring it up with a chest protector, not allowing those runners to advance, keeping them in double play order. Challenge him here down low.
Grounded to Cuthbert. Out at second. So the Royals get an out. The double play is still in order. Castro goes to third. And Altuve's at first. We hope you'll stop by the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum on Saturday, August 1st for the 2015 Heart of America Hot Dog Festival, presented by Hy-Vee, Pepsi, and Farmland. You can spend a day at the museum celebrating America's pastime with this family-friendly event featuring live music, games, an appearance from Slugger, and taste some of the country's most famous ballpark hot dogs, including the return of the signature Monarch's dog.
Cuthbert extremely comfortable, or he wouldn't have executed this play here. On the run, throwing off balance. Infante did a good job of getting the out, but I know a lot of third basemen that would take the easy out at first on that one.
Crack bat, out number 2.
Nice pitch. Ventura struck Tucker out the previous 2 times, and the curveball got in on him.
So first and third, 2 down, and now the number 3 hitter, Carlos Correa. Ventura nicked him with a pitch in the first inning, and then Correa doubled up the right field line in the third.
405. Money. Confident hitter and defensive player. That play he made last night to get Rios at first base in the hole on a jump throw. Game over if he can't make the play. When he had Morales, a slower runner at second base, he could have got him. Talked a lot about Correa's confidence.
Those numbers we just showed you explain the difference between Yordano Ventura this year and last year. Last year, the tighter the situation, the better he was. 213 with runners in scoring position. This year, 343 opponent's batting average. Not on a fastball like that. 98 with some life. As if 98 isn't enough. 1 and 2 on Correa. And we spent some time talking about that last night with Danny Duffy. His struggles earlier this year could be pinpointed to batting average with runners in scoring position, and what he has done so well since coming back from the disabled list. The most improved area would be that. Opponents are really struggling when they get runners in scoring position against Duffy.
Well, that last pitch there with his fastball, even though the league is hitting 292 off of it, the location, that is the true definition of cheese at the knees. You put that ball down there with that velocity on the outer half and low, there's no one going to be able to knock anybody in with that.
Just outside.
That's off the plate. 3-2, 2 outs. Altuve will be running. Drew Butera stepped out in front of home plate and reminded the infielders it plays to first.
Into center field, Lorenzo Cain is there. So today, Ventura continues to pitch well with men on and with men in scoring position. He has gone 5 innings and given up just 1 run. She probably doesn't want our autographs on that cast.
Sure she does. We're happy you came. Thank you.
They don't make them like that anymore, you know?
Love
As
it.
a kid, you get to sign those casts.
Mm-hmm.
Reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Now they got the, it's kind of like a mesh fiberglass.
Yep.
Hard to sign.
Yeah.
That's an old school cast that she has. Memories forever.
Plaster.
Lorenzo Cain has singled and homered against Keuchel.
That was a great at bat. He worked the count to 3-1, brush back pitch and all, and then he just tagged it. I mean, there was no chance that ball was staying in the yard.
Out to Rasmus in right field. Cain's out for the first time today. Royals got 4 in the first inning, all with 2 outs. The Astros got a run back in the second, and the Royals answered immediately with that Cain home run. So they've been ahead by 4 almost all of today. Keuchel, that ties the season high for him. 5 runs allowed. He's given up 8 hits, and his season high in that department is 9. Base hit right field. 2-hit day for Kendrys Morales.
Both on first pitches. Hitters like to swing at that first pitch lots of times because they know that pitcher's trying to get ahead with that pitch, and that's a good one to hit. Center field, now right field.
So there's the 9 hits. The Royals tying the most runs and hits allowed by Dallas Keuchel this year, and now Salvador Perez.
It's still early.
Sal reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first inning. He is 0 for 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Three-pitch strikeout, and Keuchel, who is 6th in the league in strikeouts, has only had 3 today, and now 2 down. Well, if you're on the road and you want to watch the Royals, just subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Alex Rios takes a breaking ball. Alex, like Perez, reached on a force out in the first inning and ended up scoring. And then he singled in the third, trying to stretch it into a double. Was thrown out by the right fielder Rasmus.
Keuchel does a great job of staying out of the middle, at least up till the first few innings here, where the Royals got to him early. He hadn't quite settled down, but he's got a cutter that he attacks right-handers with. Comes in on it with his hands, change up, small late sinking action. Average move over to first base, although Morales isn't likely going anywhere. Uses a slide step. Excellent fielding pitcher. Ryan said earlier, talked about him winning a Gold Glove, and when he did that, he became the first pitcher in club history to win a Gold Glove for a pitcher.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Take that back. Scoreboard says 2-2, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And now Morales will be running on this next pitch. And Rios pulls it foul. Well, we've been telling you that it's kids run the show today. And I've got one of my little guys here. This is Evan, our 3.5-year-old. Evan, wave to mommy. Wave to mommy in the camera. Say hi, mommy. And his cousin Carson is here visiting from North Carolina. Can you say hi, Carson? You having fun? Where's mommy? Mommy's at home, buddy. It's just the boys at the game today. Are you having fun? Yeah? He's trying to touch himself on the monitor right in front of us here. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. You excited about Johnny Cueto, Evan? Yeah, that's what I thought. Morales runs. It's pulled foul again. He's doing a game on radio during the last homestand, and Evan's our character, and you can see why. He's gotten a hold of the sunglasses in the last minute, but I was doing the game on radio, and Micah and Evan, my 2 oldest, come in. Evan immediately goes under the counter and starts taking off my shoe right in the middle of the inning. You remember that, don't you? Yep. Rasmus not shallow enough for that one. Morales to third. He is out. And that will end the inning. 10 hits allowed by Dallas Keuchel. That is the most allowed by him this year, and the Royals have done it in 5 innings. Denny Matthews will join us when we get to the top of the 6th inning. The Royals lead Houston 5-1. Just tuning in, Johnny Cueto is a member of the Royals, coming over in a trade with the Cincinnati Reds. Royals sending Brandon Finnegan, John Lamb, and Cody Reed, all left-hand pitchers, to Cincinnati. So Johnny Cueto, his National League rank since the beginning of last year, 3rd in wins, 4th in ERA, and #1 in innings pitched. Perfect time to bring in Denny Matthews. It hasn't been since I've been here, and we're talking 17 years, but when was the last time the Royals, this time of year in contention, acquired somebody of that stature? Anything ring a bell?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
This is quite a deal. And the one thing that strikes me, he's going from one of the toughest ballparks for a pitcher to work in to one of the best. And that should help him too. key for him, stay healthy.
Boy, that's an excellent point, because all of those numbers we just showed you in a place where the ball just flies.
Sure.
Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. That is a hitter's paradise. Luis Valbuena will lead off the 6th inning against Yordano Ventura. Hit sharply to Infante, and Valbuena is 0 for 3. Johnny Cueto will take a lot of pressure off other guys in the rotation, and in particular this guy right here, Yordano Ventura.
I think so. And he has been a #1 pitcher for quite some time, so that's not going to faze him at all. Ventura was, I guess, elected or appointed #1 in spring training. He had never done that before, so that was a burden, I felt.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Ventura has the potential of being an ace pitcher, but really at this stage of his career, he's just the #1 starter. There's a difference between being the first guy in the rotation and being an ace, a proven ace. Ventura just happened to be the guy that the Royals wanted to start the season with this year.
Sure. Because he has, quote unquote, the best stuff. That was the perception, so he's anointed the #1 guy. So that's a burden for a young guy who just really doesn't have a lot of experience. And to me, a #1 pitcher is in his late 20s, early 30s. He's been through it. He's been a winner, been a #1 guy, accepts the burden, accepts the pressure, and just is at the top of that rotation, easing the burden on everybody underneath him.
And another thing that affects players, whether you're young or old, is the contract. Especially in his case. Getting a nice deal, sometimes you try too hard to live up to that contract, and even, you know, even guys that are veteran guys that get big deals, they all want to try to prove their worth when they get a good check.
One and 2 on Rasmus. Rasmus drove in the Astros run back in the 2nd inning with a single. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ventura is still throwing 98 as he's moving up on 90 pitches on a very hot and humid day. Rasmus strikes out, and Ventura, that is 5. So if the plan had remained in place, Ventura would be pitching in Omaha today, but with the Vargas injury, he's in the big leagues, and he's given up 1 run over 6 innings.
He's keeping that ball down.
It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Couldn't wait to face Keuchel. Didn't waste any time. Beautiful drag bunt to start. Lorenzo Cain says, all right, we'll keep the line moving. Morales and Fonte with a big clutch 2-run single there. Definitely kept the line moving. And they got the ace. 4 in the first, 1 in the second. 5-1.
Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Warren Gerfen from Shawnee. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Warren wins $700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, then Warren wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Infante's due, isn't he, Denny?
Yeah, and he was the key to that inning. He picked up both Perez and Rios, who grounded into force outs. And I'm interested in hearing how you guys discussed the Rios ground ball. I was a little bit surprised that the third baseman Valbuena didn't step on third and throw to first to try to get the double play. It would have been a close play. Rios runs pretty well, but I think that was the proper play. And as it turned out, Infante singles, Cuthbert doubles, and instead of no runs in the first, 4. And if that didn't end the game right in the bottom of the first, I felt that with the 8 and 9 hitters for Houston in the 5th inning, back-to-back hits, now you got the top of the order, great chance to get back in the game. They got nothing. That's got to be very discouraging to Houston.
There were 2 little defensive plays in that inning. That was one of them, as Cuthbert takes outside. The other one, the play before that, Denny, Salvador Perez hits a ground ball to first. Gonzalez comes home, and Castro didn't have his foot on home plate. He had to kind of reach back and find home plate. And if his foot was on the plate, Salvador Perez was running. That could have been a double play. So both times they got an out.
Right.
But a better team, maybe defensive team like the Royals, on one of those plays gets 2 outs. And then Infante and Cuthbert never have the opportunity to drive in runs.
Right. And what's Keuchel's mindset after that? He's thinking, I'm getting my ground balls. Now, true, a couple of them got through. And any ground ball, sinker ball pitcher is going to go through that and accept that. But now here's 2 potential double plays we didn't get. Now a couple of ground balls find holes, and he's got to be a little bit down after seeing all that.
Valbuena, that ball came up on him. Strong throw over to first to get Cuthbert for the second out.
But you know, Denny, I made the comment that they were playing that first inning like the 9th. You know, they were really nervous about the Royals getting on or scoring a run. You know, and he did have an opportunity, even if he decided to step on third and then make it a tag play at home. He had a chance there, but that was kind of unusual. They didn't elect to get 2 on any of them.
Looked like they were playing a little tight.
I think so. Early in the game, you're going to give them a run to get 2 outs.
Change up for a strike to Paulo Orlando. He is 0 for 2. And then there was a good defensive play to end that first inning when Marisnik made the diving play in center field. Otherwise, the Royals could have had a 5-run first inning. That's well hit. Altuve, excellent defensive second baseman. And he gets Paulo Orlando, and that right there is the first 1-2-3 inning for Dallas Keuchel. high-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. 5-1 Royals to the 7th inning. It is Hall of Fame Sunday, and Royals Hall of Famer, Baseball Hall of Famer, Ford Frick winner Denny Matthews with us, as he is on Sundays, and we'll spend some time in this inning talking about the Hall of Fame. George Brett, I can't believe that it was 16 years ago when George went in, and we saw George on stage being introduced earlier today. But HUD brought up the possibility, maybe with the exception of the inaugural Hall of Fame class, that this one is as impressive as any. Marwin Gonzalez slams his bat in the ground as he flies out to Alex Rios. But how about this group? Pedro Martinez, first of all. We saw him at the height of his career when he was with the Boston Red Sox. Craig Biggio, John Smoltz, who will join teammates Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, and then the big unit, Randy Johnson, and that's Rex Hudler going, gone.
Way up in the seats. That's right.
Look at those. How did you breathe in those pants?
I don't know, but did you notice the trot? That's the only time I ever took over 30 seconds to round the bases. 24, I hear.
Why not?
Well, because he struck me out before, and I looked back and he was slapping his chest. That was back in his macho, I struck you out, I'm gonna slap your chest. And I said, all right, I'll get you one time, and when I get you, I'm gonna show you up. Look, he's not happy at all.
I didn't realize you had such a curvy figure.
Well, you know, so here, after that game is over, of course he won. He calls the training room and he says, HUD, what was that? You showed me up. And I go, oh, you small-minded blank. You forget what you did to me? You slapped your chest on me and showed me up. How did it feel? Click.
Into the right field corner, and off the padding, Jason Castro has his second hit.
That was lucky. My hit, not his, not Castro's.
Name the Royals' left-handed hitter to hit one of the most impressive home runs in the old Kingdom off of Randy Johnson.
I think I know the answer to that. Jim Eisenreich?
You got it.
Jim Eisenreich. Only because you've told me that. I wasn't there for it.
Oh, is that impressive? You know, the four guys going in today, we all agree that they have been in many pressure games and big situations in their long and storied careers. But today on the stage, they are facing a different kind of pressure. Making a speech with thousands of people in front of you and all of the current Hall of Famers on the stage behind you. That is a different kind of pressure.
How long did it take you to prepare your speech?
24 years. No, I worked, to be honest, I worked on it for about 3 or 4 weeks. About a month.
And it was great, by the way. That's one of the great personal thrills of my career, to be in attendance when Denny made his speech. So 20 seasons, Craig Biggio, all with the Astros. Randy Johnson, 22 seasons, 300 wins. Pedro Martinez, 18 seasons, over 3,000 strikeouts. John Smoltz, 213 wins, 154 saves in one career.
Yeah, they thought there were between 90 and 95,000 people the year that I went in because of Cal Ripken. Mostly Tony Gwynn was the other player.
How about Ventura?
7 innings, 1 run allowed.
Marvelous job.
pitching Dallas Keuchel, and Panera takes us around the league. Cleveland, a very rough series as Chicago wins again today. New York all over Minnesota, Toronto and Seattle, Detroit and Boston still to play. Coming up after the game on Boulevard Royals Live, hope to be talking about another series win here at the Cave for the Royals. And of course, we'll be talking about this guy, Johnny Cueto, one of the best in all of baseball. And just heard some comments, guys, from him, audio comments that were made through translator Brian Pena, the former Royal, and his catcher. And he was talking about, yes, of course, he's sad to leave the team that he grew up with as a little boy, is what he kind of said. And but he's very excited to be going to a team. He said he thinks this will be good for him and good for the Royals. Also said he expects to join the team on Tuesday, so we hope to have him on as a guest during the week, perhaps alongside his former teammate Edinson Volquez, and now his, again, teammate on Boulevard Royals Live. We'll break this one down, get you ready for the long road trip, and much more coming up. And I think we might talk a little bit, guys, about Yordano Ventura. On a day they added pitching, perhaps they also got one of their best guys going back in the right direction.
Okay, Joel, thank you. It's Drew Butera leading off the 7th inning against Dallas Keuchel, who's given up 5 runs, 10 hits. On the other side, Yordano Ventura has given up 1 run, 6 hits. And he could easily be pitching in Omaha today if the transaction to send him there wasn't interrupted by Jason Vargas going on the disabled list. So he's given another chance. By the way, no walks in those 7 innings. Dallas Keuchel allows 5 runs for just the 2nd time this year. That's a season high. He gives up 10 hits for the first time this year. Drew Butera has one of those hits. No balls, 2 strikes. Denny Matthews with us for another half inning before going back to radio and talking about this Hall of Fame Sunday. By the way, that's, I think, back-to-back Sundays, you wearing a Hawaiian shirt. You're just rubbing it in, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Well, I did think, though, that for this Sunday that it was Hawaiian shirts for TV today. So I guess I was misled.
No, yeah. You were very misled. I've got a, look at that. That's nice. Here, let's move this cord out of the way so that people can see that. Look at that.
It's got
That's
a little
Tommy Bahama, man.
Yeah. Well, there's a pattern there. It's probably not. You
Right?
can't see it real well, but you like it. You'd wear this.
Absolutely, I'd wear that. I have one just like it.
About the
In
same
fact,
size.
I
Oh,
want
you
to
do?
say I wore a shirt almost exactly like that when you went into the Hall of Fame in 2007.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at you.
Well, I remember you being there. I don't remember what you were wearing.
Yeah, I'm sure. You had a few things on your mind that day.
A couple.
Well, you were telling us that, you know, the Hall of Famers that go in today, it's a new pressure for them. They've got 75 to 100,000 people in front of them. They've got a team picture of Hall of Famers behind them.
All of their friends, family from all over. Yeah.
Televised nationally. Butera's down on strikes, and that is 5 for Keuchel. Now the format has changed. Dick Enberg, who was the Ford Frick winner this year, and he's an announcer for the San Diego Padres now. It's a completely different ceremony. The broadcaster and the writer, but when you went in, you spoke on the same stage prior to Tony Gwynn and Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, all 4 inducted at the same time. Which,
Rick Hummel, right, from St.
right,
Louis, writer.
What was unusual about that day, and I pointed it out when I gave the speech, all 4 of us were and had been with the same organization our entire careers. Tony Gwynn, San Diego. Cal Ripken, Baltimore. Rick Hummel, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and yours truly with the Royals. The only organizations that we had ever been with. And I pointed out at the time, I said, take a good look, because this is probably the last time that this is going to happen.
Right.
Because players move around so much nowadays, even broadcasters and some writers. So that was pretty unusual. I sat next to Tony Gwynn on stage. It was hot. It's always hot, it seems like. We ended up sharing a bottle of water because he forgot to get his when he went up on stage. But he made an interesting comment to me, Hud. He said, the year before, that's 1990, I don't know exactly what year, he said, I used the same bat the entire year.
Ah.
And he hit something like 360 or something.
That's unheard of.
Same bat. I said, no way. He said, yeah, the way see bats breaking nowadays.
Wow. Yeah.
Same bat. And then he went to spring training the next year, third day of spring training in BP, he broke it. And he said, I
broke it in batting practice?
And he cried? Oh, I would too.
Yep.
He gave me a bat and signed it a long time ago, and it's the smallest bat that I have in my collection. 33 inches, 31 ounce. I mean, it's just like a toothpick. And he would just stand up there on that plate and just spray the ball all over the ballpark.
He wasn't a big guy. And he didn't have a big bat. But he used that bat. I doubt if he ever got jammed or hit one off the end. Obviously, if he didn't break a bat for an entire year.
Well, that's amazing. You know, hitters like that, I envy. Tim Raines used a black finish on his bat, and there was only one spot worn on it. And you could see the white underneath the finish. And it was on the sweet spot only. You know, and then I took my bat and looked at it, and I had scuff marks from the very end to four inches off my knuckles.
Most guys do.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. He would only hit the sweet spot of that bat. Crazy. Those guys are so good.
Dallas Keuchel will go 6 2/3 innings. When he faced the Royals back on June the 30th, he went 8 innings and gave up no runs. And now today at Kauffman Stadium in the decisive game of the series, he goes 6 2/3 innings. He ties a season high, giving up 5 runs, and sets a new season high, giving up 10 hits. Chevy called to the bullpen, and A.J. Hinch will bring in right-hander Josh Fields. Two hits, including a home run. Zach Greinke's scoreless inning streak comes to an end at 45 2/3. So he went 2 innings before giving up a run. Go to DraftKings.com and enter the promo code BRoyal. That didn't take very long. Royals fan making a sign welcoming Johnny Cueto to the Royals. John Lamb, Brandon Finnegan, Cody Reed. Left-hand pitchers all going to Cincinnati as Josh Fields comes on with 2 outs and nobody on to face Lorenzo Cain. .94 miles an hour, check swing. And no swing.
He'll get that fastball up around 97. Power curveball, changeup. You know, not only is it great for the Royals to get the type of caliber of pitcher like Cueto is, but look at the opportunities now that Finnegan and Lamb are going to have probably on their big league roster. You know, Lamb, they got to replace Cueto with somebody. That's what you look at if you're one of those guys being traded.
Another team wanted you.
Yeah. That's right.
It's got to be tough the first time. You can't take it personally, but I'm sure you do. But then you think, yeah, somebody wants me, and I probably have a pretty good chance to make an impact. That's got to be the mindset you go from point A to point B with.
Without a doubt.
What a year for Brandon Finnegan. He pitches in the College World Series. He pitches in the Major League World Series. And then a year later, he's traded.
Got to give something to get something.
Three and one to Cain. Three and two. Lorenzo thought it was low. And now Cain strikes out, and Lorenzo not happy with the call before that. So Fields comes on and finishes off the Royals in the bottom of the 7th inning. Denny, thank you.
You are welcome, Ryan and HUD.
Thanks, Denny.
Nice shirt.
See you when we get back.
Hoffman Stadium, and we go to Target Field for our Mazda game break. Chase Headley doing some of the damage. And how about the Twins? It was 3 weeks ago today that they never trailed in a series against the Royals. Came into town 4.5 back, left 4.5 back because they split that, and now they're in danger of going 7.5 back. As for that acquisition of Johnny Cueto, how about the starts now within the last 48 hours or so? Danny Duffy, or last 24 hours, Danny Duffy, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Yordano Ventura, he is done now for the day, 7 innings, 1 run allowed. That is really big news on the day, if not for being overshadowed by the acquisition of Johnny Cueto, who last night, amidst all the trade rumors, goes 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed in Colorado of all places. How does that look, guys, for a rotation along with Edinson Volquez, this great defense, and the bullpen?
This changes the whole dynamics of that rotation, and it's exciting to see. Morales getting a chance to get in there.
Now that's Cueto's number, by the way. number 47, that Morales is wearing. And we are looking at some of the numbers that Morales has had prior to this year. He's been number 56. That belongs to Greg Holland. He has been number 46, which belongs to Ryan Madsen. So how many more days will Franklin Morales be number 47?
Everything comes with a price.
And Morales is probably thinking to himself, let's see.
I wonder what I need.
Do I need a watch? How about a set of golf clubs? A couple of suits.
Some negotiation time.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Good research. But you know, Ventura, fantastic job. I had a feeling that he was going to come out and deal. The whole key to his outing was Houston just going 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. That was the problem that they were having with Yordano. He was giving up too many hits with runners in scoring position. And today he was all over the plate except for in the middle. And that's the key. Now there was a nice off-speed pitch, but he's able to get Morales to pop, catch that one, see where the breaking ball finishes. That ball's down and in. He executed when he had to. That ball inside, he jammed him. Look at that. This is Ventura at his finest today. Glad to see him strong, putting fans' mind at ease about him. A lot of talk about Ventura.
Broken bat. Rios sprints in from right field and makes the play on Preston Tucker. You know, the line looks really good, and it was an excellent start for Yordano Ventura, and yet it wasn't easy. He hit a batter with 2 outs in the first inning, got through that. He gave up a leadoff triple and then a base hit in the second inning, and then retired the next 3. He gave up a 2-out double in the third. That runner was stranded in scoring position. In the 5th inning, the Astros greeted him with singles, 2 singles, so they had 2 on, nobody out, didn't score, and he got around a 1-out double in the 7th. So I mean, there were some tests along the way, and he passed most of them, pitching with men on base and with runners in scoring position.
No, and that's good. He's every outing he grows mentally and matures more as a pitcher. Got the stuff. No one ever said he didn't.
That's back into the crowd, which is thinned out quite a bit. It is a hot day. We are now 2 hours and 14 minutes into today's game. I was going to ask Denny about this, but we run out of time. But he and I on radio have said so many times that on days like today, you've got about 2.5 hours of good baseball. And then these guys they're not machines. They're just human beings out there. The heat eventually catches up, the sweating, some fatigue. You witnessed that. I wasn't here, but you witnessed that the Sunday before the All-Star break.
Oh.
And how wacky that game got in the later innings. And that's what happens. Not to that extreme, but once you get past 2.5, 2:45 on a day like today at Kauffman Stadium, man, it can be quite entertaining in the final innings.
It's one of the most miserable days, temperature-wise, I've ever experienced as a broadcaster. And there was a 25, 30-minute half inning when the Royals stayed out there on the field. I'll never forget it. You know, we talked about how we don't see many male fans out there fanning themselves. Well, I saw Royals with their gloves fanning themselves. It was a miserable day. But the only good thing that came about that, they got the W.
Two down to Luis Valbuena. This is interesting. Yordano Ventura today went 7 innings. He gave up 1 run, no walks. The only better start he has had this year, 7 innings, no runs, no walks. Do you know who he was facing that game?
Nope.
Johnny Cueto.
Ooh, how about that? He stepped up his game. He stepped his game up.
So the presence, either physically or otherwise, of Johnny Cueto has inspired Yordano Ventura a couple of times today. Here's another stat for you, Hud. The Houston Astros, in the first 4 innings of this series, scored 4 runs on 10 hits. They have scored just 2 runs in the last 22 innings of this series.
Beautiful.
It is hot like it's on fire in Kansas City today, and the Royals scored 5 runs against Dallas Keuchel, all in the first 2 innings. This is Vince Velasquez. He was scheduled to start today, but bumped from the rotation when Scott Kazmir was acquired by the Astros. So Velasquez will pitch out of the bullpen for the first time. It'll be Morales, Perez, and Rios.
Pretty nice to have his available arm as a starter if you need him. Big fastball, 92 to 97. Change up and a curve. Good young arm. Coming out of the bullpen, he's aggressive. Even as a starter, you're going to challenge guys with that fastball. Mix in a little breaking ball right there. He'll bring in his changeups more when he gets more comfortable with it. He's still a young guy, and that's a field pitch, so he hasn't quite gained the comfort level that he will.
Beats the shift. They expected him to pull it to the right side. He gets it in between second base and the third baseman Valbuena. So Morales, playing at first base, batting third today, has a 3-hit game.
Find the hole, that's all there is. Good stroke, just met it. Didn't try to do too much. That's what's so nice about the professional hitter that Morales is. And he's going to get the rest of the afternoon off.
As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Don't forget to tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KC Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Thank you, Michaela, celebrating her birthday.
Great to have the fans a part of the broadcast. Of course, all the wonderful signs that people make here at the K. The Royals will miss this yard the next week and a half. They'll be gone. Long trip. They'll miss it. But it always is exciting coming home, especially to the sellout crowds. Remember, for at least since I've been here my short time, 12 and 13 and even some of 14, it was rare when there was a sellout, but whenever there was, it seemed like the Royals couldn't win a game in front of the crowd like that. Remember they talked about that a lot. I think last season in the postseason took care of that.
Right, and the numbers backed it up. What a great catch by a fan. Barehanded, reaching out over the railing. Very nice. Yeah, the numbers would prove it too. I mean, this went on for many, many years. You put 30,000 people at Kauffman Stadium, and the Royals' record was awful. Now, were they choking? Were they trying too hard? We don't know that, but the numbers were what they were. But those days are long gone. Mentioned earlier that last night was the Royals' 16th sellout of the year, and the Royals are 11-5 in front of a sellout crowd. Salvador Perez is down on strikes. One down in the 8th inning. The Royals can hang on. They will get through a tough week. A tough week as far as opponents and a tough week as far as travel. This was a 7-game stretch against the Pirates, who had the 3rd best record in the major leagues. 1 game against the Cardinals, who had the best record in the major leagues. And the Astros, the 4th best record in the American League. And if the Royals can hang on, they will go 4-3 during that stretch. And not that you take any opponent lightly, but the Royals will have less than a quarter of their remaining games, less than 25% of their remaining games against teams above 500.
Whew. That's nice. It's good to hear that. They hold their own against anyone. This is what's preparing this team for what's ahead. They face every game like it's their last game they're going to play. You love the urgency there, but yeah, you're right. Busy after the break.
18 games in 17 days before an off day in Detroit. A week from tomorrow. Another thing too, Joel brought this up during the pregame show with Dallas Keuchel starting. This is the Royals' 6th game in the last 8 where they faced a starter with an ERA under 3. And Ned Yost and I were talking about that before the game today, that, you know, if it feels like the Royals have been facing a lot of good pitching, they have. 6 times in the last 8 games a starter's ERA is under 3. And again, Dave Holtzman doing exhaustive research. We were talking about that last night. He said, oh, look that up, and made some phone calls. The last time a team had a stretch like that this late in the year was 30 years ago, the 1985 Mets.
Wow. Well, you know, if you're championship caliber, you beat teams like that. Heck, and you know, they have the mentality. They expect to win games against Keuchel and Kluber and Price. So when they get to where they want to go, they won't change anything. Their approach, they attack. Their frenzy style offense scores enough runs for that starting pitching. And as deep as Ned's bullpen is, they're in good shape.
Dyson runs. pitch is low. And Dyson swipes second base.
Velasquez knew he was going to. It's just a matter of when. Milked a couple of his moves. He got the timing down and is able to get a nice jump and a nice safe slide and didn't overslide. 16
out of 17 chances.
Yeah, 16 out of 17. Outstanding.
Rasmus has been everywhere in the series. Dyson holds at second base. 2 down.
It's a good thing Rasmus is right on the money with that one hopper. Rasmus has got his 4th and 5th outfield assists of the year in today's game.
And now Omar Infante, he has the biggest hit of the day. In the Royals' 4-run first inning. Royals were positioned to have a big inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out right away against Keuchel, but then Keuchel made good pitches on Perez and Rios and got ground balls and force outs at the plate. So suddenly the Royals had the bases loaded 2 down, and an opportunity seemed to be slipping through their fingers. But Omar Infante singled to left. He scored Morales and Perez, and then Chesler Cuthbert followed with a double that scored Rios and Infante. Dyson to third, and it's fouled back and out of play.
Yep, you got that right.
Dyson runs again, and he steals third. You know, it was a great story. That fan had the picture of Dyson with the zoom shaved into the side of his head, and Dyson did that at the end of last year. And remember, against the Orioles in the ALCS, the Orioles threw him out a couple of times. And Ned Yost told the story that during batting practice, Quentin Berry, who's an outfielder for the Orioles, was having some fun with Dyson and said, "Hey, Dyson, you need to shave that zoom off of your head, man. We threw you out twice." And without hesitating, Dyson said, "I'm going to shave off this zoom, and I'm going to shave in broom."
I didn't hear
and
that
sure
one.
enough,
That's great.
That's what the Royals did. They swept the Orioles.
I never heard that. That's beautiful. It's hard to get to a talking war with him.
I say it is a very rare day to have Gerard Dyson stumped. And he was ready for Quentin Berry.
Dyson's a character. That's for sure.
Another foul ball, still 1-2.
That fouled off the helmet of Castro. I love Infante's batting stance. I tell you what, if you're teaching your young players, look where the bat angle is. Bat angle's flat. Okay, it's flat, and he's got one place to take it. He just takes his hands right to the ball. He doesn't have a lot of movement, although he's got some kind of, he rocks a little bit to get some kind of movement and rhythm before the pitch, but he doesn't do too much with his hands, and he's waving his bat or moving his bat around. He just has it one spot, and he's going to just take his hands there. I've always liked his approach. That's why he's so good on fastballs. Good, comfortable, lower half, little knee bend.
Having quite a battle here with Velasquez.
Hard to beat him on fastballs.
He has fouled off 6 of the 8 pitches he has seen from Velasquez.
When Denny was up here, I asked Denny, is he due? And I don't think he understood. He hasn't hit a homer all year, Infante. Keeps challenging him with that fastball. He could get a hold of one.
Oh, and it was a high breaking ball that ends the bottom of the 8th inning. The Royals are 3 outs away from taking this series, and it will be Luke Hochevar coming on to face Gaddis, Rasmus, and Gonzalez. Hochevar with a 4-run lead will pitch the top of the 9th inning. He is working on 12 2/3 consecutive shutout innings. And of the last 42 batters he has faced, he has only given up 6 hits.
Not surprised. Haas thought he was going to get the whole day off, but
shoot, I was hoping Dyson was going to play first in the 9th inning.
He could have done it. You know, playing first base, really all it is a game of catch. But I'm not surprised because Hoch's stuff has been great. His fastball, he's got it back up to 95 consistently. Look at that cutter. That cutter's been a great pitch for him. And also that overhand curve. It's a hammer. It is crisp, straight down. He's got a great 3-pitch arsenal, and he's got more, but he doesn't need them all.
0-2 on Gaddis. He scored the Astros run way back in the top of the 2nd inning with a triple, which was his 6th of the year. He had 1 triple in his entire career before the season began, and now he has 6 this year.
I thought that was an alarming number, but I remember him hitting one against us in their place up at Towles Hill there. Very interesting slope, center field there. If you hit him there, you got a chance.
Very close. And that hill is going away, as Joel explained to us when we were in Houston. Going to change center field at Minute Maid Park. Dig up the hill, bring the fences in a little closer. Ventura went 7. He gave up 1 run. Franklin Morales pitched a scoreless 8th. And now Luke Hochevar, he and Drew Butera going to have a little chat. So there it is. No earned runs in his last 12 appearances, covering 12 2/3 innings. A little bit of a struggle prior to that. There was some bad luck mixed in. But Hochevar gave up 8 runs in his first 12 appearances of the year. Cuthbert plays the second hop. 1 down in the 9th inning.
And you know, Hoch has been looking good, but how about Cuthbert, man? Cuthbert, he looks like he belongs, just like the first appearance he made here. Man, I'm going to tell you, his glove work is fancy. He's got a nice short throwing stroke and just nothing but a straight dart across the infield. Very comfortable. He made a nice play today to get a force play at second base off balance. He's got confidence. This kid looks good. And yesterday, he took 75 to 100 ground balls by my count at second base. Mike Jerschley had him out there working him.
Escobar, sunglasses on, glove in front of his eyes, fighting the sun to the last foot, and gets Rasmus for the second out. $33,638. So just shy of a sellout, but big crowd on a hot Sunday afternoon. Sellouts last night and Friday night. Royals started the homestand losing game 1 to the Pirates and then winning the next 2. And the 1 game to St. Louis, and then against the Astros they lost the first game, and now trying to bounce back by winning the next 2. To center field, Lorenzo Cain is there, and the Royals take the series. For the second time this year, the Royals are 21 games above 500. And with a KCW today, the Royals have had a winning month of July, and now they have tied a team record. If you go back to August of last year, the Royals have had 6 consecutive winning months.
There's number 6. Ventura, solid performance, but I guarantee you the early runs that this Royals offense gave him made a big difference in the comfort department. Cain blasting his 11th home run out of the yard. I mean, that went into the fountains. Michael's saying, wow, we know the Royals are good, but man, they got me early. And that was able to hold on, and that stood up. And they stayed away from the back end of the bullpen against Keuchel. That's pretty impressive.
So the Royals lead at the moment is 7 games in the Central Division. And they're in the 9th inning in Minnesota, and the Yankees lead 7-1. So in an inning or so, the Royals lead could be 7.5. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
All right, joined right now by Lorenzo Cain, who is staring down his good friend Salvador Perez. Salvi saying, come on, and Lorenzo saying,
no.
No. They're negotiating the Gatorade. Until that comes, let's talk about this win today. And we don't need to talk long, although Salvi is moving very, very, very slowly. No, I'm out. Come on, Salvi, we got to get on a plane. Only way to cool down Lorenzo Cain, big home run, another win for the Royals. How are you guys able to get to Dallas Keuchel, one of the best pitchers in the league and your all-star teammate?
We were very aggressive early in the count, just jumping on fastballs. Guys did a great job of swinging the bats today, so, you know, did a great job.
You know, you guys have played all types of opponents, but this was a big week going against one of the best teams in the National League in Pittsburgh, then St. Louis, and 3 here. How are you guys able to get to this point with a very impressive 4-3 week?
Definitely some tough competition. Astros definitely had our number last few days, whatnot, but we came out swinging the bats. Guys did a great job of, you know, coming up through the clutch, and Ace, outstanding job today from him. So just happy we got the win.
I want to ask you about that, about going up against top pitchers, because you guys have dealt career season highs in hits to guys like Archer and some of the best pitchers, again, Dallas Keuchel today. What is it about rising to the occasion against some of the best in baseball?
I guess guys just, you know, love the competition, you know, love to go out and compete each and every day. And definitely when you face the best, you definitely want to show up. So guys did a great job today. And like I say, I'm happy we got to win.
Last thing, when they put up on the Crown Vision board up there that the Royals had acquired Johnny Cueto, the ovation was obviously very noticeable. I'm wondering about, for you guys in that clubhouse, what the thought is in acquiring a pitcher that you faced earlier this year, one of the best in baseball.
It's huge. When we faced him, we definitely struggle against him. So I know what kind of stuff he has. He's a great pitcher, so definitely happy for the addition.
Lorenzo, great job, and have a good road trip.
All right, thanks.
Lorenzo Cain, as the fans give him a well-deserved round of applause. Ryan, we go back up to you, and he talked about them not doing well against Cueto. They beat him, but he only gave up 3 runs.
There's the first Johnny Cueto Royals jersey. We see ya. And what a move for Johnny Cueto, joining the team with the best record in the American League after taking 2 out of 3 from the Astros. We'll be right back.